What's going on, everybody? Josh Engleman for Awesemo.com, and these are my NBA DFS contenders, my favorites for Wednesday, September 9th. Be sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you know when this and all of our other content goes live. And be sure to let me know in the comment section, who is your number one contender for today? Ivica Zubac, Lou Williams, Jamal Murray, and Patrick Beverley round out the top 10. Marcus Morris is on the outside looking in. Who will be the top 5 plays for today? It's time to find out. Before we hit on Daniel Theis, just want to let you know, I'm really sick of talking about this slate. But anyway, number 5, Daniel Theis. Oddly enough, 6th on FanDuel, 6th on DraftKings, comes in 5th just because a couple guys in the top 5 have wildly different rankings depending on which site they're on. 5,600 as a power forward on FanDuel, 5,400 with dual eligibility on DraftKings. They were obviously in a monster blowout in Game 5, but Daniel Theis was on pace to play for more than 30 minutes. I'm giving him 30 here, but I think the potential is greater. I wouldn't be surprised to see, 32, 33, especially with the ability to close them out here. 10 and 8 as a baseline projection. You kind of know what you're getting here. He's been a 0.9 fantasy point per minute guy through the bubble, or at least through the last 30 days. That's about where I have him projected today. We're looking for a 31, 32 fantasy points. I think he does that 25 to 30% of the time. This is just a solid play, a guy that I want to have, about 40% of, regardless of what site I'm playing on. Coming in at number 4, a guy I'm definitely sick of talking about, that would be Jerami Grant. He's number 2 on FanDuel at small forward, number 11 on DraftKings. The 5K price tag on FanDuel for a small forward is a perfect spot for him. He's better than the other 5K options at other positions, which makes him become even more important at that slot. So much so, in fact, that I think that he should be owned about 60% of the time on FanDuel. Now, this is very clearly a minutes play. Jerami Grant is out there a ton. His minutes seem to be as safe as anybody else's minutes on the Denver Nuggets. He's been like a 0.67 fantasy point per minute guy, which means he's only going to get there on FanDuel about 27% of the time. Now, that's still a very good rate. That's the rate that makes him be second. But this does fail, 70% of the time. That's DFS for you. The big piece here is the minutes. I've harped on it throughout, basically every game of this series. When you're going to be on the floor so long, it affords you the opportunity to fall into additional stats. An extra steal or a block here or there, a couple extra rebounds go your way. You just have more opportunities to accumulate stats. Those are the guys that I want to look for on a 2-game slate, which means Jerami Grant is going to be in a lot of my lineups. Coming in number 3, a man that looks like he is fully cooked every other day. That would be Marc Gasol. Now, there are multiple caveats here. 1, I am assuming that Serge Ibaka is in. He is playing on a potentially injured ankle. We don't know his status as of right now, but I'm assuming he is in. At the very least, he appears to be mildly compromised. That should be a slight benefit to Marc Gasol. Also, Marc Gasol ranks 19th overall on FanDuel. That is not very good. I'm not overly excited to get him there. He's my number 1 value play on DraftKings. This Denver Clippers, Raptors Celtics series, this 2-game set, has no value, and it's barely had any value for the entirety of the series. So $4,100 Marc Gasol looks really good. He only needs like 23 fantasy points to hit his DK goal. That's a 27% outcome. I'm going to have a lot of him. He's actually been better on a per minute basis than most people are probably giving him credit for. He's been at 0.86 fantasy points per minute over the last 30 days. I'm actually projecting him lower than that, 0.75. That's a really big drop-off. The big key here is that his price at $4,100 is really difficult to get away from on DraftKings. And there's also the added benefit that he could find himself playing an extra minute or two just in case Serge Ibaka's ankle doesn't hold up. I don't think that he gets a ton of additional time if something goes wrong with Ibaka, but there's a possibility for an extra minute or two. Either way, that price on DraftKings makes Marc Gasol really difficult to avoid. Coming in at number 2, my second Marcus of the top 10, that would be Marcus Smart. Now, Marcus Smart is the exact opposite of Marc Gasol. He is my number one play on FanDuel at $5,700. At shooting guard, I think he hits his goal 37% of the time. That's a monster number for a guy priced in the mid-tier. I think he should be owned like 60% of the time. On DraftKings, however, not that interested. He ranks 18th overall. 6,500 is just too big of a salary. You'll see on the screen, he needs 7 more DraftKings points just to hit his goal. That's a really, really big amount. I don't think that he gets there all that often. So if you're playing anywhere today, Marcus Smart, FanDuel, Marcus Smart on DraftKings, not so great. 0.73 fantasy points per minute. You're not getting a ton here. It's, again, the minutes. This looks a lot like Jerami Grant. He just happens to be wildly underpriced on one site and not the other. You never know what you're going to get from Marcus Smart, though. But you're absolutely going to get effort. And that's the kind of guy that I want to have in this sort of game, a knockout game for the Celtics. I have him projected for 2 steals. Who knows what kind of steal numbers he could put up. And that's even better on FanDuel, where steals are worth 3. So if you're playing on FD, it's got to be Marcus Smart. Just got really nervous that I didn't click the record button, but apparently I did. So number 1 for today, Fred VanVleet. He's 5th on FanDuel, 3rd on DraftKings. It's the best balance of anyone on the slate. 7,900 on FanDuel as a shooting guard, 7,500 on DraftKings, dual eligibility. GPP goal, 46 fantasy points. Does that about 30% of the time, regardless of site. Gave him 43 minutes. I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility that that number becomes like 45 or 46. These guys are playing for their playoff lives. And when that happens, they're going to need to be out there. Quick pause to switch from Marcus Smart to Fred VanVleet. I truly hate when I do that. Look, 21, 6.5, and 4. VanVleet actually takes more shots than Kyle Lowry does on a per minute basis. I'm hoping he can knock some of those shots down. I think he steps up to the moment. He's been really good from a fantasy perspective, better than what I'm giving him credit for today. 1.05 fantasy points per minute over the last 30 days, and I'm only giving him 0.92. Whenever I have a situation where the salary is going to come up because he's been playing better, the per minute numbers are coming up, but my projection is lower and he still ranks high, those are the guys that I want without question. Because if I projected him like a 1.05 guy, I'd end up with like 100% Fred VanVleet. And I definitely don't want to do that. But I definitely want Fred VanVleet to be one of, if not the most exposed players for me today. Alrighty guys, that'll do it. Another edition of the Contenders is in the books. Be sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you know when this and all of our other content goes live. And again, let me know in that comment section who your number 1 contender is. Follow me on Twitter at Josh Engleman so you can get updates to this top 10 throughout the day if we get any additional news. I'm thinking this is going to be the last time that I break down this series. I'm expecting Boston to win this game, which means we're going to single game contenders in the near future. Best of luck tonight. I'll see you guys again tomorrow morning.